It's Tuesday, March 12. Here's what's making the news. Bilateral talks between the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union and Russian-owned company Rusal will begin on March 15 following a decision by the company to finally recognize the union as the body that represents the workers.
The decision came following a meeting today at the Social Protection Department of Labor between the department and the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union and Rusal.
We believe that this exercise is going to be one where we start building of trust and confidence in a relationship, because it's necessary that both sides, the union and the company, work together. The issue of recognition is not on the table. The company has decided, the company has made it clear that this is the recognized union and we're going to be working together. We have to work together in the interests of workers, the interests of the company, in the interests of the nation.
General Secretary of the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union, Lincoln Lewis. Lewis said that among the issues up for discussions are future negotiations, relationships, occupational health and safety.
They are open to dialogue, not recommendation. We have not discussed the issues one by one. We will supply the list of the issues that we do have by tomorrow, and we will meet to discuss. In the meantime, the strike continues.
Rusal has been butting heads with Guyanese workers at its Roraima Region 10 operations after more than 61 workers were dismissed following strike actions. 30 more workers were later informed that their services were no longer required. The government has been supporting the Guyanese workers and made it clear to Rusal that the GB&GWU is a legitimate body and must be respected by any company operating in Guyana. Seneca Thorne, InfoHub.
Arguments in the appeal case of the December 21, 2018 vote were today heard in the Court of Appeal.
Maintaining that Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George erred in her January 31 ruling, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams today argued that the CJ did not read the Constitution in full. The AG continued arguments before Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary Janet Cummings Edwards and appellate judges Justices Rishi Prasad and Don Gregory Barnes in the application for an interim stay of the Chief Justice's ruling of January 31 and a conservatory order preserving the status quo ante. According to the AG, it was clear that the acting CJ did not consider together Articles 1066 and 1067 before she made her judgment.
I dealt with the question of the resignation of cabinet on the night of the vote, and of course this question about the president and ministers couldn't be in office after the expiration of the 3 months. And you see, I've shown authorities that that is not in fact so.
Addressing Articles 1066 and 7 of the Constitution, the Attorney General submitted that a court gives regard to the Cabinet and its members. He said that there is no way the Cabinet can resign, as it remains one of the three organs of democracy. More than that, Cabinet, he said, is a trigger for government expenditure. It also has a responsibility to Parliament. The arguments on government's behalf were supported by legal luminary, former Attorney General of Grenada, and now senior lecturer, University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, Dr. Francis Raphael Alexis. He had much to say about the case.
I like the point about whether a vote of confidence is one and the same as a vote of no confidence. That's very interesting. The Attorney General is highlighting issues that need to be addressed on an occasion like this. For example, what is the role of the cabinet, and more particularly, how is the state going to be run if the cabinet can't bring financial measures to the assembly? All of these are very weighty issues, and Guyana is opening the eyes of the world, certainly of the Commonwealth, as to what issues can arise when a country, a young country like Guyana, is charting its own way constitutionally.
The Attorney General versus the Speaker and Opposition Leader case will hear more arguments on Wednesday at the Court of Appeal. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Minister of Finance Winston Jordan assures that government will honor its financial obligations to public servants and other service providers.
The Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan, is reminding that the government and all that obtains remains in place.
I don't know that there should be any cause for concern. Secondly, there is a budget in place that has been passed unanimously in December. There was no dissent to the budget. And it is for the government to execute the budget. And that is what we have been doing, and that is what we will continue to do.
The issue of suspending contracts as allocated for in the 2019 budget is a non-starter, he explained.
The government is doing what it has to do. There is no such thing as a caretaker government. There are no restrictions on the government. The government has a budget that has been passed. The government will continue to execute that budget. There's nothing that we have done unlawfully, and we will continue to observe all the laws of the country.
Minister Jordan is optimistic that Guyanese, including public servants and others, can see through what he says are the, quote, chest thumping and bleatings of the opposition.
I believe Guyanese are much smarter, they're much wiser, and I could guarantee you, come March 24th, they will be paid, come April 24th, they will be paid, and come whenever, they will be paid in accordance with the budget that has been passed.
Paul McCallum, InfoHub.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman says the construction of the Kwakwani Workers Club will begin soon at a cost of $10 million.
Renovation to the Workers Club at Kwakwani, Upper Demerara, Berbice, Region 10 should begin soon in keeping with the promise made to the community by Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman.
Years ago I was asked and did give an undertaking, and I would say a promise, that it would help the community to refurbish the Workers Club. It's a building that is old, but it's near and dear to them, and I'm trying to keep that commitment, and so I've been asking around to see if we can get people to volunteer wood, some of their own skills, and I think we're at a stage where now we have a concept, we have some designs, which I thought it important to meet with the community this morning to discuss, because I may have my own thoughts and ideas, but it's more important that I do what they want.
For this project, Minister Trotman was adamant that only labour from the community will be used.
They put together a committee that would oversee the work. It's also important that whatever work takes place, that residents of Kwakwani get a chance to be a part of the project, and we don't see people come from outside bringing skills and labour into the communities.
According to the residents, the Workers Club, as you can see right behind me, has been in this state for a very long time, and most of them are basically very happy that it will be refurbished under this administration.
There are some activities that different organizations wants to promote, and so on. There are times when you have to take activities on Independence Square, whereas you can bring it here. They have some youth clubs. You can start doing things for the youth.
I'm glad if this place could be furnished as fast as possible. It's like I saw in this community right now, where you have the Independence Square and you get straight across your local club. And if they do it to be well for the children too, because they play games here. They play tennis, they play domino, and these kind of things.
Reporting from Kwakwani, Felicia Valenzuela.
Still to come, Minister Ramjatan calls for integrated approach to tackle trafficking in persons and cater youth to benefit from inter-village exchange program. Details of these and more when we return.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways and lush enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travelers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.
Welcome back. At the opening of the two-day regional thematic meeting geared towards addressing trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants, Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjatan called for society's wider involvement in addressing the issues.
It is also having fresh ideas that must come from our circumstances. Our experts inside of the task force, those that are within the research departments of our ministries, our universities, all of them would have to collaborate and come up with fresh ideas as to how we can do this thing. Hitting the networks hard, getting the information as to who are some of the suspects.
Minister of Public Security, Kemraj Ramjatan. Minister Ramjatan thanked the organizers of ACP-EU Dialogue and ACP-EU Migration Action, which is funded by the European Union and the IOM, for supporting the meeting, which aims to generate relevant recommendations on the topics of trafficking in persons, TIP, and the smuggling of migrants in the region.
Commendations must be given for the continuous support for ACP countries, including Caribbean governments, at improving their legislative frameworks and capacity in implementing counter-trafficking and counter-smuggling policies. This support is especially needed given the vulnerabilities of many Caribbean nations. I hope that the objectives of the ACP-EU are fully met, and for Guyana and other Caribbean countries in the region to wholly benefit.
Guyana's participation in the conference comes after the government has secured and continues to maintain its Tier 1 status in the fight against TIP. For InfoHub, Shaquille Bourne.
170 youth of Cato and its 14 surrounding villages are slated to have a life-changing experience come July.
The young people will be participating in the third Inter-Village Exchange program that is being facilitated by the Department of Social Cohesion. This was disclosed by Social Cohesion Minister Dr. George Norton during a recent visit to the community.
We want you to be involved in all the activities. Yes, we started in Region 9 and we went back to Region 2, but now we're here in Region 8 in our signature project of the Inter-Village Exchange.
Acting Coordinator Singh Lewis stressed the importance of having a cohesive nation and how the program will aid in this process.
We have an opportunity to teach them. We want to ensure that we're able to promote unity, to build a national identity for all of us. One of the things that we are mandated to do is to promote nationalism. We're hoping that when we bring this cadre of young people together, they will be our ambassadors for social cohesion in the North Pacorimas.
The initiative was commended by Tusha of Cato, Clifton Pereira.
It's exciting for me. I look forward to the day because there's another stepping stone again for the students. I think that's a good idea and I look forward to it.
The program targets young people between the ages of 16 and 25, and they will be housed at the Cato Secondary School, while they participate in a week packed with lots of fun and educational activities. Reporting for InfoHub, Ayana George.
Health professionals in the field of medicine and pharmacy are currently meeting to review and finalize the Essentials Medicines List. This list is a record of essential drugs and medication which satisfy the priority healthcare needs of the population.
Essential medicines are selected with due regard to disease prevalence and public health relevance, evidence of clinical efficacy and safety, and comparative cost and cost effectiveness. According to PAHO WHO representative Dr. William Adukro, essential medicines are those that satisfy the primary healthcare needs of the population.
Essential medicines are intended to be available within the context of functioning health systems at all times in adequate amounts in the appropriate dosage forms with assured quality and adequate information and at a price that the individual and the community can afford. The implementation of the concept of essential medicines is intended to be flexible and adaptable to many different situations. Exactly which medicines are regarded as essential remains a national responsibility.
Chief Medical Officer of the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Shamdya Prasad, remarked that the document is to be updated every 2 years, in which additions may be made, while others may be removed from the list.
The last list was signed off in 2015,
and we had some small revisions, but the main revisions are going on this year. For our system, we would want to make it every 2 years, but because of the, the medicine is quite changing quite rapidly. Shorter periods would not usually give us enough time, and then with the paucity of especially pharmacists in the field to collect all the information that's needed to recompose that list.
The meeting to finalize the EML is being hosted at the Guyana Marriott from March 12 to 14, 2019. Consultants from the World Health Organization involved in this process are playing a critical role in the completion of the document. For Info Hub, Delicia Haynes.
That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp, like and subscribe to our Facebook page for notifications, and subscribe to our website for more stories. You can also follow us on Instagram for updates. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.